What's up and welcome in, everybody. It's your guy, Ike Jones, right here live from Coleman Coliseum inside of I won't say packed house because it's not packed yet, but it will be. There will not be a seat empty in this place. Auburn taking on Alabama right here, Lobtown, part of the Auburn Express, powered by the War Corps. Hopefully everybody is having a good Saturday evening, afternoon, ready for some great basketball. We're here checking out this game right now. Both teams going through warm-ups. Doesn't look like anybody who is supposed to be playing is missing from what's happening right now. So we're expecting all hands on deck for this 1 versus 2 matchup, historic in the SEC, historic for this rivalry. Looking forward to a good game here. If you guys didn't watch my pregame, then you don't know all of the things that I've already said about this. But let's get back into this game. You're talking about the number 1 scoring offense in the country in Alabama going against a top 10 defense in Auburn, and a team in Auburn that has, from an efficiency standpoint, quite frankly, been struggling the last few games to be able to put up big points. Now, they've gotten into the 80s against some defensive teams, right? But against the better defensive teams in this league, they've struggled, right? Now they got to 81 versus Florida, who's a good defensive team, but Florida was really trying to put pace out there and outscore, which is, I think, what the strategy is going to be for Alabama today, which is to try to outscore Auburn and not turn this into a half-court match where it's about who can get the most stops. And that's really where Auburn needs to focus, is they need to focus on shutting down this Bama team, turning them over, and getting out into transition. If you heard Coach Nate Oates talk in the pregame, he talked about the guys who touch the ball most for them, and Mark Sears and Grant Nelson have been the biggest culprits of turning the ball over a lot for Alabama. And so Auburn needs to try to find a way to make them continue to do that, honestly. Just the guys who have the highest usage rate, make them the guys that are trying to play hero ball, turn this into 1 versus 5 defense, turn them over, bad shots, secure the boards, and get into transition against Bama. Because I think getting some easy points out in transition, not that you need a knot, but you need to be able to get some easy buckets out here, is going to be the remedy for success, so that you don't have to go against their set defense. And they've had a good defense during conference play. Like, a lot of people like to say that this Alabama team can't play defensively. That's just not true. They have guarded well during conference play. So you're looking forward to seeing 2 teams that are going to go out here and they're going to play solid defense, particularly Alabama against the 3, where Auburn has been not as proficient as they've been previously. So you've got a game of a team that guards really well against the 3, has the lowest 3-point percentage in the conference that they've allowed. They have allowed the least amount of threes in the conference during conference play so far. So they defend the 3 really well, and they've got good tough 2 defense, right? They're going to force you to be tough against their length on the inside. Now, they don't have a lot of physicality on the inside, but they do have length, and that length bothers teams. So I think it's going to be important for Auburn, particularly Janai Broome, Chaney Johnson, to just play through the contact, play through, verticality, and get into scoring buckets and not worry about what the free throw disparity is for these 2 teams, because I don't know that you're going to get a favorable whistle if you're Auburn in this game. So you can't worry about that. You got to play through that and just go out there and score through that contact. If they call the foul, they call a foul. Great. If they don't, you still get the bucket. It's going to be important for them. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing how this game plays out, particularly early on, how the whistles are going, particularly for the Auburn interior guys. How are they going to be playing against what you assume is going to be a favorable home whistle for Alabama, because they always get a favorable whistle, but trying to figure out how they do that and keep themselves in the pace of what they want to do offensively. Auburn's a different team if Janai Broome's not in there. They're a different team if Dylan Cardwell's not in there, right? So how are they going to be able to make sure that Dylan stays out of foul trouble, Janai Broome stays out of foul trouble, Chaney Johnson stays out of foul trouble, so they keep their advantage on the interior as far as physicality is going. But we are about 45 minutes from the scheduled game time. The clock says 55, so we're going to be starting a little bit after the top of the hour for those of you who are looking for the game. Of course, this game has ESPN Game Day out here, so we'll be on ESPN Main. So, again, it's going to start probably about 10 minutes after the hour, according to how the clock is going right now. Going to get over here into this live chat and see what you guys are talking about. Please go ahead and share the content with somebody. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I definitely appreciate that. Donovan must be in the building, says, hey, I think I see you. I don't know where you are, Donovan, but if you do see me, I'm here on Radio Row. It ain't but one me over here, so I'm the only person over here going live. Keith says, much thanks for your travels to hell for us and other members of the family. Man, I appreciate you all continuing to support. We try to do what we can do to give you guys really great coverage. And again, doing this live from the sideline, unprecedented right here on the War Report, pregame live from the arena. And we'll try to do this a little bit more as we, travel a little bit more for these games. Chess says that's important info going in. Who are the referees? Yeah, the referees have been announced for this game. Let me go ahead and pull that up for you guys. I'm pretty sure I saw somebody say Pat Adams was on this one. Let's see. Auburn versus Alabama. They have not opened up the stat thing. I saw somebody announce who the refs were for this game already. I'm going to see if I have an email with it for you guys. I'm pretty sure the ref crew, I know the ref crew has been announced already. Chess says we're playing two teams simultaneously. Hey, listen, that's what you got to assume that you're going to get. Auburn hasn't had a favorable whistle, man. Like, it is what it is. And you've got to take that into account when you're going into your preparation for this game. Let's see. Radio. Are the officials on my list here? They are not. I'm almost positive I have seen the officials announced for this game already, though. Somebody probably has it already in the chat, don't they? Nah, not yet. All right. Let's see. AU is going to have to close in and contest the three-pointers that Bama will take. They couldn't do that against Florida, and Bama's a better three-point line than yes, they're definitely going to have to do a much better job of defending the three than they did versus Florida. That's not going to be a thing where you can just let this team tee off from three in this game. So definitely going to have to do that. Connie says the play is under review all day long. Might be. Listen, this is going – I'm looking at these teams in warm-ups, and right now Auburn looks very, loose and playful. Not that I don't think that they're taking this seriously. I just think that they're trying not to come in here and be tight. So they're trying to be very loose right now during warm-ups. But I am looking forward to seeing how they potentially lock in here as we get closer to tip-off and whether, some of that playfulness transitions into a more serious tone. Bama's just out here putting shots up, and this is what they do, right? They want to get out here and put shots up in the game. I recall watching this game live a few years ago when Auburn came in here, and Bama was down at the half, and they hadn't shot very well, and they came back out from the half, and they didn't do any warm-ups at all. They just went straight into shooting threes the entirety of the time, and I think that's kind of the mentality of this team is like, we're going to shoot our way back into a game. See, right now, Auburn is out at the half-court line dancing and having fun. Like, they're in a very playful mood right now, which is very typical for them, right? This is not new. Every game they do this. So this is not like something that they're just doing for this game. They're trying to be as normal as possible and just be the team that they've always been, which is a team that's going to try to go out there and enjoy themselves and play the game and really just kind of get into the heads of the opposition with the fact that they're having fun. So Timothy says it's time for this team to go out there and prove that they are, in fact, the best team in college basketball. I don't know that you can prove that outside of March, but you definitely have an opportunity to say that you're the best team today, right now, as it stands. But the best team doesn't get crowned until the end of March, or actually early April, as the Final Four is going to be in April. But, yeah, that's when it gets determined. Reed says he heard that Chad aggravated his shoulder at practice. Does he look okay at warm-ups? This game will be tough without him. He's going through warm-ups as normal right now, and he doesn't seem to be favoring anything, but, they're not going through any contact or anything right now either. So I'll kind of keep an eye on how he's shooting out here at warm-ups, but I don't see anything as him taking a three right there that he just made in warm-ups pretty fluidly. And I don't know, is it a shooting shoulder, non-shooting shoulder? That's important too. He's a lefty, so is it his right or is he just made another three right there in warm-ups. He looks fluid right now. Jim Deal says that I think the refs will be an X factor in this game. There we go. Jackson with the tweet about I knew I saw it somewhere on Twitter about the officials is Pat Adams, Joe Lindsay, and Vladimir Voyard-Tadal. I probably butchered that last name, but everybody knows who Pat Adams is, unfortunately. But yeah, so they're your officials right there. Appreciate that, Jackson, for the information. I'm sure that was somewhere on ESPN too. I'm just not looking it up right now. Kyle Sweat jumps in and says they're going to mug Broome today, and we're going to have to fight through it. Absolutely. This is a game where you can't worry about whether or not you're getting the calls. Just play the game and keep – I mean, they're going to complain, right? Like, if you're getting hit a lot, you're going to complain about that. There's no two ways about that. It's very natural that if you're not getting foul calls, it's going to be frustrating. But I just think that they need to play through it, not just in their demeanor, but in, like, literally, all right, cool. If it's not going to be a foul, then I need to finish through the contact. And have that mindset today. D. Lev says that Houston, Arizona better be over. The game better be over by the time we tip off. I mean, no telling. You know, like I say they don't. The last time game day was at an Auburn game. They switched it over to ESPN News or something because the game was like it was Houston too. It was Houston versus Kansas last time, right? Wasn't it a Kansas-Houston game last time when Auburn was game day? So, do you think CBM starts or C-Mo? If Chad is hurt, then it's a possibility that you see another start here from Chris Moore. I don't think that that's out of possibility. I also don't think that it's crazy to think that maybe they insert Chaney into the starting lineup to go big initially. So, I don't know. We'll see. But I don't think I like Chaney as a starter in that lineup just because, I mean, actually, I think about it. I don't think I mind that so much just because I think he's a better offensive threat than Simo is. I just have to think about what your first rotation is Chad will be a part of your first rotation off of the bench, and you would still have Simo to come in off that rotation as well as to Hod. It's not a bad thought. If Chad doesn't start, playing Chaney at the 3 and going big might be something. I don't know if they'll do it, but it might be something. All right. Again, we are about 46 minutes from the scheduled tip-off of this game. I'll try to keep you guys updated if they're making any changes to any of that stuff. If you are in here, go ahead and share this live. Let's get more people in here reacting to what they think is going to happen. Auburn versus Alabama, 1 versus 2 here. R to the not familiar with that player, but hopefully all players for Alabama get locked down. Yeah, Chad's going through warm-ups just fine out here, guys. He's knocking down shots. He hasn't really been dribbling a lot. It's more just catch and shoot stuff. And again, he's not getting any contact, so we'll see. Chaney didn't play last season until 14 minutes into the second half. Is that a true thing? Last year in this game, he didn't go in until 14 minutes? Crowd still looking a little sparse in spots out here. 45 minutes until game time. Chad just did a reverse dunk in a layup line. Again, he looks like he's okay. I'm seeing going through some dribbling drills right now. Corner 3, knocked down. Chad looks good. Yeah, I don't know what he aggravated in practice, but it hasn't in fact impacted him during warm-ups. So we'll see. Appreciate everybody jumping in here with me. Pre-game, getting things cranking out here. As you can tell, I'm kind of laser focused on these warm-ups. Just trying to gauge what people are looking like, feeling like out here. Again, for those that don't know, it looks as if Bama is going to be wearing their throwback crimson uniforms in this game tonight, as opposed to their home whites. And Auburn is going to be in their traditional home whites. So a little switch up for those expecting to see the Blues today. You will not. You will see, which they have. Auburn hasn't played in their orange uniforms at all this season. Somebody pointed that out earlier, and I hadn't noticed that they haven't been playing in their orange uniforms this season. Will there be a halftime live or just a post game live? That's a good question. I don't know. I don't see any reason why I can't do a halftime live. But I have not even thought about that, to be honest with y'all. Bama goes extremely tall in their starting lineup, so if Chad doesn't start, Chaney might be best bet. All right, Bama's walking off of the court right now. Auburn is in a little huddle, looking like they're getting some final thoughts in before they go back to the locker room. It's not everybody, though. Chaney and Dylan are still, and Janai looks like, not a part of the huddle right now. Oh, it must be just the guards that are over huddling. So all of the guards and wings are huddling up right now. Okay, got you. Stephen Pearl in the middle of the huddle talking to his guys. How's the fan spread looking so far? Meaning, like, what percentage of it's looking like Bama versus what percentage is Auburn? Hard to tell this early, honestly, just because there's a lot of empty seats. But there are a ton of Bama fans that are here in the building already. So I don't know how loud the Auburn contingent is going to be, but you can guarantee that there will be some Auburn fans in here. But you just don't see pockets of them, so it's not easy to just say, oh, there's a large Auburn section right there. Still a lot of empty seats in here, though, so I assume that a lot of the empty seats that are yet to be filled are going to be a lot of Auburn fans, and if that's the case, then this crowd will have a ton of Tiger support in the building. We're going to win this on the sixth man coming off the bench. Who is we? Who are you a fan of? Brian G says, I think next season Auburn should start making that a trend. Wear orange only against Alabama, alternate for other games. I'd like to see them wear the orange alties in the final game of the season versus them. I think that'll be dope. Let's see here. Ephesians says Auburn needs to win the remaining home games and go 1-2 in the road games, and Auburn wins the league. I think that's the recipe. Yeah. The road games left today versus Bama. You go on the road to Kentucky, and you go on the road to Texas A&M. And at home, you're going to have Arkansas. You'll have Bama again, Georgia. Oh, Archida is an Auburn fan. War Eagle to you. I'd like to see more orange on the road. Not mad at it. You think we maintain the number one seed if we split these Bama matchups? Depends on what happens in the rest of them. I think whoever wins the SEC regular season title is who is going to be the number one overall seed. Unless the regular season person has like 4 losses in conference, then it'll probably be Duke. So we'll see. Again, on the clock here, we have about 40 minutes until the game time. So I'll be on with you guys up until right before they do the national anthem here, so that I don't have to try to stand up and all that stuff on camera. But yeah, we are about 40 minutes from the scheduled tip off here. Auburn now going through warm-ups on both ends as Bama is no longer out here on the floor. Guards on one end, bigs on the other. Ernest, I agree with you. Yo, Malcolm asks, is Chad playing? Chad is going through warm-ups, so it looks as if he will be playing in this game, but we will see like what the starting lineups / number of minutes is, but he is scheduled to play today. Jay Williams still out there being a massive Auburn haters on game day this morning. Not surprised about that. Nothing about that is shocking. Glad to see the light back working. Yeah, we'll see. It's early. They still got to turn them off and get them back on. So that was the problem last time. Let's see here. Still have not gotten any updates on starting lineups out here. So see here. Ike, do you think our guys can get off to a great start on fast pace since Alabama is going to be fast-paced team? How well do you think we defend them? I mean, I think to me it's not necessarily about how fast they start. It's that middle portion of the game, right? Because they started well. They started well versus Florida. They started well versus Vanderbilt, and that game tightened up. To me, it's about that middle portion of the game. How well is Auburn going to be able to weather if they do start well? How can they weather that first surge by Bama? And then if they don't start well, can they create a surge of themselves against what is going to be a very fierce crowd that's going to be on their necks? So to me, it's about that middle portion of the game.
Ada Holloway, point guard.
Cam says if Bama keeps the turnover trend, it may get ugly for them. Definitely a possibility, and that's the thing that Auburn wants to be able to do is they want to try to turn them over. Orange works great for basketball. They used to have a problem with number contrast in football, but I like orange for the round ball for sure. Will Ja'Kai break out today? Man, I don't even know if Ja'Kai's going to play. He's had opportunities against some of these smaller teams to go out there and play, teams that are more up-tempo to play, and he hasn't gotten any time. Oh, shoot, they almost dropped a cheerleader in warm-ups right there. Like, that was almost bad. War Eagle Jess, what's up? What's the Auburn crowd size like? Did we travel well? Still a lot of empty seats in the building. Hard to tell where the Auburn fans are right now. I see them sprinkled out throughout here, but also my vantage point isn't great except for a couple of sections because of how this arena is situated and where they have press. Playing Truth says, I think Auburn will win comfortably despite playing the number 2 team. I would be happy to see a comfortable win. We'll see. CBM was listed as probable. He's been going through warm-ups with no issues. I don't think he's going to not play. Again, it's going to be about whether or not once he starts taking contact, how he can play against that. But he's going through warm-ups just fine. In fact, he is dribbling the ball for a warm-up shot right now. Pull-up 3 from the top of the key. Looks like he's warming up for a step back, shoots it. Yeah, he missed it, but he played. He did shoot it. I think we need above 50% on free throws today. God, if they're below 50% on free throws, then all right. Blue Jones, what's up? Seahall, Wardam Eagle, hope we don't have one of those lax games where they let them back in the second half. Listen, Bama's going to make a run, guys. You're not going to blow them out in this game. I don't expect to have an Ole Miss repeat in this one where it's pretty much wire to wire against the home team. So, just win the game. I don't think it's about being lax. I think it's just about, and I mean, some of it is about being a little too undisciplined in how they're shooting and how they're passing. But again, you got to give credit to some of these teams. Some of these teams are good. So they're going to have instances where they play well. And so Auburn just has to weather that storm. Donovan says, I think Miles could have the game of his career, potentially a double-double, watching him getting long rebounds. Gotcha. Connor Hall says, "We're Eagle fam. This is a dogfight. Just got to end on top." Agreed there. Skybox Card says, "Well said. Just win." C Hall agrees with that. Yeah, man. I don't want people to think, oh man, you got to blow teams out to win. You just got to score more points than they do or get more stops than they do, man. Just go out there and win the game. I mean, I'd love to see a blowout. I just don't think it's likely against a team that's as good as Bama is, which has been balanced on both sides of the floor as far as offense and defense in SEC play. Again, minus the Ole Miss game, which feels like an anomaly if you look at the rest of their games. They've played well on both ends of the floor. But the thing that has let teams stay in and they've had close games, the Mississippi State game, the Arkansas game that got tight late, was Bama turning the ball over for stretches where it was just like back-to-back turnovers. Now, Auburn is not a team that thrives off of that like a team like, an Arkansas has, but they do play good enough defense to force bad shots. To me, it's going to be about the offensive glass. Can Auburn keep Bama off of the glass? If they can keep them off of the glass, then it's going to be a difficult game because that's how Bama gets into a lot of their good shooting situations is they have the offensive boards that allow them to get that second or third shot for the open three. And so they don't have a high assist rate. They have off of like their normal flow. If you watch their normal flow of offense, a lot of their assists come off of boards and kickouts. What they don't do well is in the flow of their normal offense, just move the ball around. It's usually a lot of dribble and off of screen actions that they get a lot of their shots from in the half court. Not to say that they don't do it at all. It's just not like the most probable thing of how they work offensively. Basketball, a game of runs. I expect several 6-point swings. Don't disagree with that. Randy, if Auburn stays out of trouble with the fouls and fire up some threes, Tigers will get the win. That should be a recipe right there for sure. Do you think we have a segment in the game where Pettiford and Holloway go at each other shot for shot? They will definitely face each other since both of them are coming off of the bench. I don't know who that other guy is, but, I know he's not a starter for them. But he will be playing off of the bench for them. And Sahad will be coming off the bench for Auburn. So, defense and crash the boards. Yes, indeed, Malcolm. Pre-game Auburn MVP prediction for this game. That's a good one in the chat. Who do you guys think will be the MVP for this game for Auburn? By all metrics sites, Auburn has the edge, but this rivalry game, you never know. I think Bama's actually favored by Vegas in this game. Connor, yes, Chad was warming up. They've gone back to the locker room now, but he was out here warming up. Torvik's got 90 to 85, Auburn 68% confidence. Okay. We are just about 31 minutes from the scheduled game time right now. Janai Broom walking off of the floor to a chorus of boos by the Bama fan base. As expected, when he came onto the court, they did that. They booed him on his way off the court. They did the same thing for Chad. So Chad and Janai seem like they are going to be the focus from the crowd today as far as their vitriol is concerned. So I got a Denver Jones, a Miles Kelly, a Tahad Pettiford, Chaney Johnson, a different name from every single person so far. Auburn rebound. Let's get this. Let's win this game. I feel that 78-90 Auburn victory. Predicting a 12-point win. You have to watch them do the Iron Bowl trophy at halftime. Is that what they're doing at halftime? I don't know. Did they announce that on the game day broadcast or something? Auburn's favorite to win on the ESPN app. Vegas is the only first place that has Auburn losing. Torvik, Ken Palm, and ESPN all favor Auburn. Vegas is like not so fast. What are the coaches wearing tonight? Are the coaches wearing orange or are they wearing blue? I think the coaches were wearing white, actually. I think everybody's wearing white for Auburn. Watch the light switch. What are you talking about? I'd like to see a lot of pick and pop with Kelly and Pettiford to loosen up room in the post. Yeah, I think hitting threes is going to be imperative for Auburn I'd like to see them get into more pick and roll action um, defensively to allow Broome to catch the ball on the move a little bit, or allow them the Alabama defense to have to react differently to Broome's presence. I think Broome gets back right and Denver stays hot. That's going to be necessary. Let's see. Connie says, I think the booze fire our kids up. They talked about it in a presser. Oh, I mean, they love it. They drink that stuff in. Question is, can they? It's going to be more than booze once the game starts. If Bama starts hitting some shots, there's going to be a lot of cheers that rain down in the opposite direction. Can you silence those? And they played well on the road, Rosen. So it's not a team that's unfamiliar with tough road environments. Bama fans are cheering for something, which I have no idea what. Oh, I think it's some of the football team walking in. Yeah, that's what it is. Let's see. That's usually the tradition. They show the trophy and sing the fight song. Okay, I don't know anything about their traditions. I don't care about them. Randy says, I think they shut some player, I don't know who this person is, down. Okay, I hope they shut all of their players down. I think with Chad's personality, wouldn't be surprised if he quiets the crowd after a big three-pointer. Yeah, that does sound like something he'll do. Does definitely. Surprised me they're not booing the football team. That's funny. All right. Bama team is making their way back out on here for their warm-ups for the next session here. They're still in there. They still don't have their jerseys on, but I don't know why. Like they're trying to do a big reveal for these old school jerseys that they're wearing when it's like super evident that that's what they're doing. Like they have the old school shorts on. Like, I don't know. Like, yeah, all right, whatever. Let's see. Surprised they're not booing. Okay, is that the Holloway that played for us? I don't know who that is. We don't know that guy the chat is talking about. Yeah, I'm unfamiliar. I'm sorry, guys. I try to make sure I do my research before these games, but you guys keep bringing up somebody who I'm not familiar with, so I apologize. Aiden Holloway, unfamiliar. Unfamiliar with that player. Yeah, I don't know. You guys keep bringing up this guy, and I just don't know who he is. I apologize. I'll do a better job of informing myself of players, but I don't know him. He played for Auburn. He transferred to Bama. Does not ring a bell. Do you think Coach Burrow will go more than half court defense to stick to full court or attempt to slow down Sears? Yeah, they will definitely switch defenses, and it's going to depend on the floor of the game. If they need to be able to get some stops and they want to try to turn them over quickly to try to change the momentum, they'll change it up to more full court stuff. They'll try to go to the half court trap stuff. So, yeah, it's going to happen. Broome got to be big, in my opinion, to win. Agree with that. How many AU folks who got percentage-wise? Still hard to tell. There's a lot of empty seats still left in here. We're about 25 minutes from game time. And plus, this vantage point doesn't allow me to see some areas very well. So hard for me to tell. I think it'll be better for me to gauge it once Auburn comes back out here for warm-ups, now that crowd has started to fill in a little bit more, if there are a lot of Auburn fans in the building. Am I staying live during the game? I am not allowed to be live during the game, so no. Even though I don't see why, because I'm not showing the game, but it's not my rule. So whenever that guy who smokes layups in the tourney gets in, we need to put him in pick and roll immediately. Yeah, if they've got a bad defensive guy, then they should definitely put him in the pick and roll. Spears isn't all the way scary this year. His averages went way down. Mark Sears has not played up to what, but he's one of those guys, man. I think big games, you gotta put that out of your mind and just think he's going to play like he normally does. So I wouldn't put it past him for having a big game this week. Big 12 just ran an ad claiming to be the deepest and best conference in college basketball. Interesting. All right. Who are the teams in the Big 12 that are supposed to be scary this year? Iowa State, Houston, Kansas. Kansas State's coming on a little bit right now. I don't know. Sears averages are down, but I think it's more because they are deeper team. No, he's just not shooting well. If you watch him play, he's not shooting well. Now they're still playing well despite the fact that they don't need him to be a 30-point guy. But yeah, his averages are down because he's not shooting well. And maybe what you're saying is he's not getting the volume that he used to get. But I don't think they need him to shoot at that volume this year. And what he's done well this year is just kind of he's played better defense. He's been a better facilitator this year. So he still impacts the game just because people have to pay attention to him. Houston, Arizona. Okay. Seen somewhere an arena takeover poll. AU expected to have 30% of fans pretending. 30%. Okay. Phylon is the one guy that scares me. Phylon's a really good player. He's not a great shooter, but he's a really good point guard, like a true point guard. Would you rather this be a defensive battle or an offensive shootout? If I want Auburn to win, it needs to be a defensive battle. Aiden Holloway played last year for Auburn quite a bit. I'm familiar with that person, Robert. Sorry. Would be crazy if we could bench Sears. Will Cheney be able to bang inside against Grant Nelson for sure? Grant Nelson, he's not the banger guy. Now he's got length, which is going to probably bother Cheney. Cheney doesn't finish over length as well. But if it's a guy who's similar in size, his physicality doesn't bother him. So. With the loud crowd, how can Oates communicate with the team? All right, Bama's coming back out. Let me see. Auburn's coming back out on the floor. If you can hear the boos, they are loud. And I do not hear a lot of cheers. So, yeah, this is a very hostile environment right now for Auburn.
On your experience at Opelika seems to be the best it can be. Should any problems arise during today's game, please text or call our guest service.
We concerned with Darian Reed coming back.
5620.
Darian Reed? I don't know who. No, I really don't know who you're talking about. We're talking about Darian Reed. Talking about football player Darren Reed, DJ Reed. Does Cheney have his hair up? No, Cheney has the hair down with a headband on today. Did they fix the lights? Lights are still working, but they were working well last time up until they turned them down for player announcements, and then they couldn't get them back on. So too early to say. You can play in Cameron. You can play anywhere. Yes, but they didn't win in Cameron. So, It's Broom's ankle 100%. He said he felt fine last game. I don't know what the percentage is on Broom's ankle. People forget, Janai Broom's not really an above-the-rim player anyway. So he was never going to be soaring over the top of people.
And yours today, before they sell out.
Beaver Cleavage, what's up? Nelson Sears are the best players that will need to be shut down. Cheney, Janai, and Dillon will need to be able to guard well. Agreed with that.
Other delicious food and beverage options. Visit the concession stands located around the concourse to grab your game.
Oh, Darian Reed for Bama. Oh, yeah. I don't know. They actually, now that I think about that, he has been a guy that has been back at practice for them this week. So it is a possibility. They don't have their jerseys on, so I can't, and I don't know him from, and they're across the other side of the court. So I don't know if he is out there for them right now.
There is something for everyone at J&J.
Derek Reed.
Visit the Opelika Safety Field behind the stadium to find officially licensed NIL jerseys and t-shirts, headwear, official game using memorabilia, and on-demand trading cards from Thomas. Entries on the ground level, including more safe.
Bet you wake up soon. Who's asleep? I missed somebody talking about who are you referring to there? Margot Ashbury, excuse me, who is asleep. Dylan give you 10 points tonight. That'll be something. I think Broom's ankle affects him more on defense than offense, probably why we have suffered some on the boards. I agree, because normally he can go and step out against guards. He hasn't been hedging as much. He's been playing drop coverage a lot more recently since the ankle injury. So he just doesn't step out as well. Chad is still out there, yes. He is currently dribbling the ball, so yes, still out there. Saw a tweet saying Reed is playing. Yes, I do recall now people talking about the fact that he had been practicing this week for them, so he is anticipated to play some minutes for them this game. Auburn has got to hit their free throws, says Chris. I agree. Speaking of free throws, Dylan is at the free throw line right now warming up, and he shoots an air ball. Second one up, front rim. He ain't putting no knees into it, though. There we go. They get some knees involved. Makes the third one. There we go.
Crimson Tide fans are reminded to stay up to date with all recommended vaccinations. Flu season is here, and other respiratory viruses continue to affect our community. So don't wait. Vaccinate. Visit alabamapublichealth.gov/INM today.
Free throws will be the difference. I think, listen, if it's a close game, free throws are always going to be a big difference.
Thanks for your continued support of Alabama Athletics.
I don't know why Dylan warms up at the three, but he definitely does it every single game. His shot actually looks good. Like, I just don't know why he shoots it so poorly in games. Like, his form is good. Like I say, he doesn't put his knees into it very much, but like as far as form, everything above the waist looks really good. Rotation looks good. It's inexplicable that he shoots so poorly. Will we get bumped for Houston ending late? Possibly. You know, ESPN don't like cutting off game. It depends on what the score is, I think, in that game. If it's a close game, they'll stay there and they'll bump Auburn to ESPN News. There are, according to the clock here, 15 minutes left, almost 16 minutes left until game time, though. So they're not going to start at 3 o'clock regardless. People keep asking about the Auburn presence. It's not going to be big enough to be noticeable, no. It's going to be a very partisan Alabama crowd today. I mean, there are Auburn fans here for sure, but it ain't going to be enough to impact this environment. Auburn fans will only get really loud when the Tide fans start getting quiet if Auburn's winning. But it won't be noticeable like it was during Vanderbilt or something like that. Does Bama give up many points in the paint? When they give up points, they are in the paint. They're a good defensive team against 3 and 2. They're a solid defensive team in general. Here's the thing that I have to remind people about teams like Bama, when you look at their paint defense or defense against twos, is Auburn is one of the few teams in the country, South Carolina, Auburn, one of the few teams in the country that has a legitimate scoring big, right? Janai Broome is an anomaly in college basketball these days, right? Kansas, right? There just aren't a lot of teams that have true post players. So when you look at 2-point defense, you're talking about 2-point defense against teams that don't have a guy that can go and get points in the paint. That's why Janai and Chaney are such anomalies as far as their ability to impact games, because there's not a lot of times that you're going to have to face those teams defensively or those types of guys defensively. Coach Oates talked about this in the presser pregame. He's like, they want to be able to play one-on-one versus Janai. So the question is Janai going to be able to score in one-on-one scenarios? Because he's going to get those opportunities early. And if he does, and they have to go in double, can Auburn take advantage there? Bama team coming off the floor right now. So a lot of cheers going up for that. How fast Auburn gets in defensive setup will be a B. Yes, it's going to be a big key there, Robert. .332 left in the Houston game. 13 left here on the clock before tip-off there. So looks as if Auburn will not have a delay, but it's going to be the normal kind of TV delay. So this game will start probably about 10 minutes after the hour. How musty is the hangar today? I'm in the press area, so everything smells good over here. How are they lit like it's game day? I'm sure they will. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a raucous crowd, guys. Like, it's starting to fill in here, and they're loud. It's going to be loud in here. Does Bama let teams get off threes a lot? No, they have the lowest three-point attempt rate defensively in the conference. They defend the three the best in the conference as far as not allowing teams to shoot them, and they give up the lowest percentage of threes in the conference. But again, they don't play teams that have good post players like Janai, so they typically can play a lot more freely on the outside because they don't have to worry about a post player that is going to be able to go one-on-one versus their guys. If they're forced to have to double team, it's going to change how they have to play defense, so we'll see. Do you run your best stuff? I think you just try to run your normal offense and see what they're doing defensively. They're not going to run. I don't think they run a lot of different things. I think they're just going to run what they run. Which guard will have the best game, Tahad or Jones or both? I think this is a Tahad Pettiford type of game, honestly. Big game on the road. He's going to be coming up against a worse defensive lineup. JP just made the half-court three. Tahad taking one. Ooh, just missed it. Ooh, Turtle just made the half-court three shot. All right, Auburn is exiting the floor. We are about 10 minutes from game time. Janai Broome, of course, the last one going to the locker room, as always.
Congratulations to Grant Nelson. Thanks to Maccabi Construction for their support of Alabama basketball. Maccabi Construction, Bill Benner.
Denver and Miles 3-point defense is the name of the game. If that happens, we win. Freshman versus freshman. You're talking about Tahad versus LeBaron?
That's looking good, and it's good still for some shooting weather coming up. So make sure you check it out before the sellout in the concourse today. And as always, keeping it loud and coaching on a Saturday, it's DJ2 Checks. Turn it up.
Is that tiny Bama transfer guard who comes off the bench a defensive liability for them with our big guards? I think all of the guards for Bama off the bench are defensive liability, honestly. I don't think any of them are great defenders on the perimeter. Jared asking about the ratio. It's overwhelmingly Bama. I don't know what the percentage is. Overwhelmingly Bama. All right, y'all. We are 9 minutes and 30 seconds from game time. I am going to end this live, and we're going to get into some of this pregame festivities here within the arena. Appreciate you guys for jumping in here. If you haven't already liked the video, please go ahead and do that. Subscribe to the channel. I'll try to be back here at halftime. There will be a post-game reaction regardless of what happens, so you guys be on the lookout for that. Until the next time, and as always, War Eagle.